It's midday. Welcome to Newsbeat live here on Metro Television. We are coming to you live from the Ikuyabuahima studios here at North Ridge. My name is Shadrach Odame Ejari. Now let's take a look at some stories making headlines. Day 2 of the Opposition National Democratic Congress constituency executive elections underway, following a first day of surprises, disappointment and hiccups. Meanwhile, NDC Elections Directorate nullifies elections conducted in 3 constituencies. We'll bring you live updates from across the centers. President Akufo-Addo reiterates his government's commitment to improving Ghana's education following the commissioning of the Abomusu Model STEM Senior High School at Etiwa West District of the Eastern Region for academic work to begin. And later on the foreign front, flat in part of Nigeria ground trade and road transport as residents reel under the impact of climate change. Details of this plus sports and entertainment will be coming up in the next 60 minutes. Do stay. So let's start from the quarters of the National Democratic Congress as voting is underway in part of the country in the National Democratic Congress constituency executive elections. Day 1 was characterized by surprises, disappointment and hiccups. The National Elections Directorate of the National Democratic Congress nullified elections held in 3 constituencies in the country. The constituencies are Etiwa West, Impraiso and Afram Plains South. The Elections Directorate of the party said the elections were in clear violation of an earlier directive of the Directorate for the postponement of elections in those constituencies. The elections were successful in most parts of the country. We'll bring you a live update from the ground, but first let's bring you some stories from some constituencies where the elections were held yesterday. So we'll begin straight from the Ashanti region, where the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Andrew Nana Akwesi, has said the party is working closely with its members in the Menchia South and Swami constituencies who injuncted the constituency elections. According to him, the party is looking at an out-of-court settlement to allow the 2 constituencies to also elect their executives as soon as possible. Andrew Nana Akwesi spoke with Metro News after touring some election centers in the region yesterday.
The quest for the Ashanti Region branch of the Opposition National Democratic Congress to have 8 constituency elections in all the 47 constituencies of the region were shut by last-minute court injunctions in 2 constituencies, Menchia South and Swami. Meanwhile, elections in 21 constituencies went on successfully yesterday, while the rest of the constituencies have converged today to elect their constituency executives. About 1,000 aspirants in the Ashanti region battled for 23 positions at the constituency level to steer the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. Andrew Nana Akwesi, who is NDC's regional chairman, urged both delegate and aspirant to eschew functionalism after the contest, adding that going into the 2024 general elections was the surest way for the party to eschew functionalism after the contest.
Everything is going on well. I've visited about 9 constituencies so far, and everything is going on well. The voting turnout is very good. You can see how our branch executive has come out with vote. That shows how effective the party is. And I pray that by 5 o'clock, whoever becomes the winner, NDC is the winner. We don't have a winner, we don't have a loser. We are all one family, and we hope that the betterment of the NDC and inshallah 2022, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama become as the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
At the Menchia North constituency, a total of 880 delegates voted to elect 23 constituency officers, whilst 1,850 delegates converged at the Aswanse Methodist Park in the Aswanse constituency to elect their officers. 1,402 delegates also elected their 23 officers at the Bantama constituency at the Center for National Culture in Kumasi. The Member of Parliament for Aswanse, Mohamed Mubarak Muntaka, addressing delegates at Aswanse, indicated that the NDC stand a better chance of winning the 2024 general elections. However, urged the party members to remain united and not be complicit.
Last week, and a week here, I know I started also, we whoop out with my trauma NDC. Yeah, the number to my now, you two one. Eddie is sick as a man. Yamitu Minty, the woman that chose him, Muhammad for in
So that was Muntaka from the Ashanti region. Let's move to the Central region, where elections in the Upper Dentra West constituency were called off yesterday, getting delegates stranded. The elections were called off following an attack on Electoral Commission officials who were mandated to conduct the elections. The EC team en route to the Congress grounds from Cape Coast were attacked and all ballot boxes and papers burnt into ashes. My colleague Akwesi Ado has more in the following report.
The constituency was one of the original constituencies that were cleared by the regional headquarters to run the elections, but the occurrence caused the total call-off of the elections. According to reports gathered by Metro News, the Electoral Commission officials who were detailed to supervise the elections at Dentra Subin were attacked in the middle of the journey by some unknown men who seized and burnt all the electoral materials. Over 500 delegates in the Upper Dentra West constituency remained stranded. Constituency Chairman John Kay reacted to the development, pointing fingers at some persons he describes as new members of the party.
National Chairman, Regional Chairman, one more see a prayer of a family to have a million to accreditation. A year 950 something with the executive purpose I want to Abama NDC. Obian friend the chairman. So chairman ma, may you so chairman ma. Na accreditation no, young farmer 99. Yeah, me jira say. Wo a person to magua mano. Table ni si akotukum area ebe kan. Sa. Wo a person to ma chairman UK no. Table ni si abetukum area.
Some disappointed and angry delegates also spoke to Metro News, expressing their displeasure.
So we'll stay a bit longer on the NDC elections, and I have on the phone lines Daniel Mensah Amati, who is the Deputy Director of Elections for the party. Welcome, sir, to Metro News. Now, first, let me ask you, how many of the constituencies voted successfully yesterday, and how many are voting today? Hello, sir. So, like I mentioned, we are still on the NDC election, that is the constituency elections, and then we've seen from the Ashanti region where the Aswanse MP Muntaka also gave his bid, his message to his constituents. We've gone to the Upper Dentra constituency where people have also been left stranded in the election grounds. Let's go back to the phone lines and then speak to Daniel Amate Mensah. You are welcome back, sir, again to Metro News.
Yeah, thank you.
So I was asking first, how many constituencies from your records have voted successfully yesterday and how many are voting today?
Well, yesterday we slated 190 constituencies to have the elections. At the close of the election, 169 had the election successfully. Some few of the constituencies had the youth and the women's election successfully, and they are having the main today.
But we've picked up reports from our correspondents which showed that there were challenges in constituencies like the Upper Dentra, West Gumwa East, and then the Central region, and then some parts of Sherman, where there were some challenges around the voter register. Have these concerns come to your attention?
Oh yes, in fact, all the situations you have narrated came to my attention. Central region, for instance, there were some few challenges. There were some missing names on the ballot papers in one of the constituencies. At Sherman, for instance, it was because of late arrival of the voting materials. As I'm talking to you now, Sherman voting is underway. The remaining constituency that was originally scheduled for today are having their elections as I'm talking to you, including my own constituency, Lejukuku Kowo. Greater Accra, originally we're having 32 constituencies yesterday, and unfortunately only 24 were able to complete the process. The remaining are doing the continuation today.
But before the elections started, we had some messages from your end, from the NDC, especially from your Director of Elections, who promised a violent, free and fair election. And then we've already started seeing ballot boxes and papers being burnt. What is really happening, or is the party staying aloof to watch all this happening?
The Upper Dentra is just an isolated incident that happened. If you have 169 constituencies having their election successfully without any inches, and then you have one constituency with the incident you narrated, I believe that it's just an isolated. The entire northern sector of our country has had their elections, northeast, upper west, upper east, northern region, Savannah. If you come to Bono East, you come to Bono. I have 6 constituencies, they are having their election today. So, one will say that, yes, with that isolated incident, generally it has been very peaceful.
But let's look at Etiwa West, in Praiso, and then the Afram Place constituencies. Those places were nullified. What really was the concern? Why the nullification?
Well, in the first place, all the 3 constituencies you have referred to, they were told not to go ahead with the election because of few issues that our appeal committee has worked on, and that was the reason why they were asked to hold on with the election. Unfortunately, they defied the orders of National Committee and went ahead with the election, and that's why, from the directive perspective, we think that the election that were held on Friday would not be recognized by the party.
Well, thank you so much. Before I let you go, let me ask you, how is the elections going today from the places you visited so far?
In fact, so far I visited 2 constituencies. It has been very peaceful. It is well organized, and we believe that by the close of today, we will be able to report the returns from the constituencies election. It has been very peaceful. It has been very transparent.
Right. Daniel Amate Mensah is the Deputy Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress. We'll stay a bit longer on issues around the NDC elections, as the NDC executive elections in the Aguna East constituency has been suspended indefinitely over what was described as an unsafe ground by the party's supervisors and the Electoral Commission staff. There were public display of weapons, including firearms, in an atmosphere of commotion. Central Regional Correspondent Akwesi Ado again with this report.
The atmospheric situation became unsafe for the EC staff, party supervisors, and even aspirants as a group of persons wielding various forms of weapons, including firearms, stormed the venue of the elections. A candidate who was cleared at the national level did not have his name appearing on the ballot paper, a development that gave rise to the happenings. The regional headquarters, however, contends that there were no communication to effect the clearance of the said candidate from the national headquarters. The party supervisor, who was delegated to play an oversight role, Bright Butchie, had to be whisked away by the police. Police who were present said they did not have the numerical strength to deal with the situation. He was forced to write to the functional executive committee of the party about his decision to suspend the elections. Here's Bright Butchie speaking to Metro News.
The tension mounting here and there, and about 1,800 people. The security, the area we think security-wise is not that conducive for us to conduct the election. So, where we held the election to, where we were about to hold the election, is a premises of an entire church. And we can't allow something bad to happen. So the best thing is, upon consultation, we agreed to hold on the election, as we are going to rectify the issue from today to tomorrow. And I believe in a couple of days we will communicate to the public domain for them to know when exactly the election will be conducted.
At Gomoa East, a total of 1,957 delegates have converged to vote for 69 candidates aspiring for 17 positions. This follows the suspension of the elections on Saturday as the details of some aspirants failed to appear on the ballot paper. Amoakofi Francis is the Gomoa East Elections Director for the NDC. Speaking to Metro News, he advised aspirants and delegates to respect the modalities of the elections.
That's some inch in the printing of the ballot papers. So based on that one, the region asked us to reschedule it to today. That was the actual problem. And the printing of them.
What was the actual issue you had with the ballots?
Oh, the printing house delayed us in printing it. And sometimes some of these things can happen in Ghana. So when there is delay, we need to reschedule the time and the venue.
Some 20 constituencies, according to the party's schedule, are supposed to hold their internal elections today. Richard Ekopenyi is a former MP for Gomoa East. He has charged party members to be united.
I don't have anything 100%. Yeah, I am satisfied. I need up to about 96%. You may not have to think about election in a way that you're going to have everything 100%. It's an election. Even here, everything is okay now for us to start. But in the process of that, we may have a problem, technical problems. And so I think that what happened yesterday, there were misunderstandings, whatever. But we have an office in Cape Coast, the regional office, that has tables for addressing issues like that. And so the officers are there and they are ready to meet anybody with such issue.
Well, let's stay a bit longer on the issues surrounding the NDC and their elections, as I have my colleague Alhassan Dibaba from the Northern Region joining me. Alhassan, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Great. Let's find out from your end, how has the elections been so far?
All right, thank you so much. In the Northern Region, yesterday, about 9 constituencies from the Eastern Corridor region conducted their elections yesterday successfully without any incident. The 9 that is left, because we have 18 constituencies in the Northern Region, the 9 that is left is conducting their elections today. So currently, Tamale South has started their elections, Sanargo started, Tamale North started, Tolong started, a whole lot of constituencies started except that of the Tamale Central constituency. And there are so many challenges at the Tamale Central constituency because a while ago, they were free fight. People were fighting outside, like nobody understands exactly what happened, but they were fighting within themselves. And we tried finding out, and my phone was even nearly snatched from me for trying to take videos of that incident. So currently, I am at the Tamale Sports Stadium where the Tamale Central constituency election is supposed to take place, but nothing is, they haven't started yet. They are preparing to start the elections, but the Electoral Commission is not part of the elections. And what we are picking out from the grounds is that the EC is afraid to be indicted by the court injunction that was placed earlier. That is why they decided not to take part in these elections. But according to some of the officials we have spoken to, they said according to their party's rules, if the EC is not even ready to come and they are ready to conduct their elections, their internal electoral election body can go on with the elections and conduct it successfully. So currently, we are at the Tamale Sports Stadium where the Tamale Central Constituency elections are supposed to take place. And some delegates also complained to Metro News that their cars were not given to them. So for that matter, they are finding it difficult to come into the sports stadium because their cars are not given to them. That is why they are not able to come into the sports stadium. And some of them even mentioned that that one is part of the reason for which they were fighting outside, because the police stopped them from coming in. But after they were able to come in, they met some people that they were not happy with, because according to them, they facilitated the denial of their cars. And that is why they were fighting inside. So currently, that is what is happening in the northern region.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abdul Al-Hassan Dibaba, for the report from the Tamale Central Constituency. Voting is yet to start. I will beg that you keep safe, as we'll be coming back to you in our subsequent bulletins. But this is Newsbeat. We'll be back after this break. You're welcome back from that break. Now, the Church of Pentecost has built an inmate skills acquisition and reformation center at Nsawam in the Eastern region as part of a move to reform prisoners to become useful and integrate them into society. The center is a 320 capacity, fully furnished facility and was handed over to the Ghana Prison Service at the ceremony at Ahojo in the Nsawam Adwaji municipality on Saturday, October 22, 2022. There's more in the following report. The newly built Reformation Center has 4 dormitories, an infirmary, a visitors' lounge with a shop, a fully furnished administration block with auxiliary offices, an ICT lab with computers and accessories, and a tailoring workshop. The center also includes a carpentry workshop, a chapel fully furnished with musical instruments, a baptistry, kitchen with a dining hall, a soccer pitch, a volleyball pitch, CCTV installations, and other facilities. The Nsawam Prison Reformation Center is the second to be built by the church after constructing a similar one at Ejura in the Ashanti region in May 2021. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo commended the Church of Pentecost for supporting government in the growth of the economy.
Apostle, your leadership of the church has already been commended by the General Secretary. I want to add my voice to that commendation about the sterling work that you're doing in the name of Christ and in the Christian movement in our country. It's exceptional, and we must recognize it.
Chairman of the Pentecost Church, Apostle Kwabena Nyamiche, stated that the Prison Reformation Center is a direct response to the Bible's admonition to remember those in prison.
Your Excellency, it gladdens my heart to inform you that the Ejura Prison Camp project, constructed last year, is already yielding some dividends. Currently, 36 inmates are being trained in different trades, that is tailoring, kente weaving, leatherworks, carpentry, and metalworks. A good number of the inmates have already been trained at the workshop and have since been discharged.
Now, the Upper West Regional Chief Imam has launched an educational endowment fund aimed at supporting some needy but brilliant Muslim students up to the tertiary level. He has also pledged to support an extra 20 to study abroad in a bid to increase the human resource base in the Muslim communities in the region. The Imam made this revelation during the launch of the Chief Imam Endowment Fund in Wa. According to the Chief Imam, there is a pervasive penury in Muslim communities and the appreciable level of Muslim youth who are unable to progress to tertiary education due to financial challenges. This has compelled the Regional Chief Imam Office established fund to support the Muslim society to further their education to highest level. The objective of the Educational Endowment Fund was to provide educational infrastructure for efficient teaching and learning and also renovated dilapidated school structures in the region. Abdul Rahman Zakaria is the Executive Secretary of the Regional Chief Imam.
I am informed that the objective of this establishment of the fund is as follows: to enable the Office of the Regional Chief Imam to generate and provide material and financial resources towards developing education in the Upper West region, to support aspiring and needy Muslim students to further their education at the tertiary level.
The Executive Secretary also said the Educational Fund will sponsor 20 brilliant students abroad to study in various areas.
With regards to financing the education or that of their wards, recognizing the endemic poverty level of the Muslim community and the appreciable lack in the educational attainment of the Muslim youth, also recognizing the fact that our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, asks us to seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. The Office of the Upper West Regional Chief Imam deemed it necessary to put in conscious efforts to find sustainable solutions to augment the sources of financing education in the Muslim communities. This will not only liberate the needy, but brilliant youth from the circles of financial constraints to realize their dreams of attaining higher academic laurels, but will also bridge the wide educational gap between the Muslim youth and that of their counterparts.
The Upper West Regional Minister emphasized the need for other communities in the region to invest in education and human development. The Kumasi Compost and Recycling Plant, KCAP, is a mega-scale municipal solid waste treatment plant set up to receive and treat municipal solid waste from the Kumasi metropolis and adjoining district assemblies. The facility, which currently produces 9,000 bags of fertilizer for the local market, is embarking on an ambitious expansion project to enable it to recycle over 2,000 tons of waste per day.
The General Manager of KCAP, Samuel Intumi, who gave an overview of the facility during a working visit by the Parliamentary Press Corps, indicated that Kumasi generates between 1,500 to 2,000 tons of waste per day. The situation, according to him, led to the visionary executive chairman of the Jospon Group of Companies and Zoom Lion to inculcate the excess capacity, making this recycling plant the largest in the sub-region.
We are only doing enough to break even, but not looking so much on just the commercial. It's more about what we can do for the country. Our executive chairman believes in solving problems first for the nation, and then making sure you don't lose out in the process.
Samuel Intumi pointed out that the plant deploys a tunneling system to produce the finest compost, which is derived from the organic fraction of the waste.
He has a ujai farming, a train for some months, some years. Say be our trains assassin be sign good. Organic nankasano is assassin. Emma in Yabano in air kama pa air very good. So they should buy from us, and the price is not expensive. Currently, it's only 30 cedis per bag for farmers. 30 cedis, and also people are charging 300 cedis. 200 cedis, 180 cedis, 30 cedis per bag under the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative, PFJ.
KCAP is a subsidiary of the Environment and Sanitation Cluster of the Jospong Group of companies who are providing recycling facilities in all 16 regions of Ghana, in line with Ghana's vision of making the country the cleanest in Africa.
Now, in education, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has commissioned the Abomosu Model STEM Senior High School at Etiwa West District of the Eastern Region for academic work to begin. He charged the pupils of the area to take their studies serious to benefit from the school.
The facility is made up of 24 classrooms, an assembly hall, dormitories, 8 laboratories, a dining hall, and 6 apartments for staff. The school is also fitted with a full complement of amenities such as playing fields, administrative buildings, and libraries. Inaugurating it, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo stressed that STEM education is the future of the country and the world at large, and urged students who will be admitted in the school to take their studies seriously to fulfill that purpose. He commended the Abomosu traditional authorities for allocating land for the project.
They try to offer any school die can see for fair, then you teach you school, Metino Nabumusum, Mofra, and I am my school. And then Yasia Disiana Bano, and the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the humanities, STEM education. That is the future of education in Ghana and the future of education in the world. Let per se, about 1 year, 2 years, the statistics no to let's just have Abomosu Ranchen in Mamawa and I school and ma
The Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesi Amoakwata, showered praises on the President for fulfilling his promise in the Etiwa West District.
Machine road do not or the boy or the Shayan Bono from Kwabin to Abomosu to Asum 41 kilometers of road and that Wapahon to my the third one promising a school and then Mohene
The Deputy Minister of Education in charge of TVET, Mrs. Gifty Chumampofu, advised parents to encourage their children to take their studies seriously to benefit the school.
Nanka BEC bebe, nanka ya mani nyina won potem ha qualify. Na ya doso ama ye nya ho mfaso. Me kan say ya adesua de eno ana betu hiase. Ebema mobro wa ye yie. Enti eno eja nya uba no ho adaje na dache weni beje se wo yesa.
From Abomosu, the President also commissioned Kwabeni Abomosu Esiomu Road and the 45-span bridge on River Brim. He also inspected the ongoing construction of poultry farm under the One District, One Factory initiative at Kwabem and commissioned 24 units classroom block at St. Martin's Senior High School at Nsawam. The President is expected to end his tour in the region today.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Give Us Floor and WC Cleaners.
Now, health advocates are calling for the frequent checkup of breast of men and women. This came to light when the National Development Planning Commission observed Breast Cancer Awareness Month for its staff. We do apologize for the loss of sound there. Up next is sports. Now, Ghana is seeking the face of the creator ahead of the World Cup in Qatar. The Black Stars have, among other things, called up a host of players, switched formation, and also changed coaches. The government of Ghana and the country's football governing body have decided to seek the face of God 1 month before the tournament in Qatar gets underway. 2 national days of prayer and fasting have been announced in the country, with the Muslim population participating on Friday before Christians follow suit on Sunday. Whether it can help the Black Star squad remains to be seen, with Ghana heading to the finals as the lowest ranked of the 32 teams at 61st in the world. The 4-time African champions will face Portugal and South Korea in Group H before a grudge match against Uruguay, who knocked Ghana out in the quarter-finals in 2010. Now we'll go straight to the phone lines and then speak to Nana Ajiman. Okay, I hear he's on Zoom. He's international football pundit. Nana, welcome to Newsbeat. First,
thank you very much.
Let me pick your reaction on the 2-day fasting and prayer session for the Black Stars, because I know people are busily training, and then we are calling for 2 days of fasting and prayers.
Well, I mean, am I supposed to fast for players who are earning $100,000 a week and eating a full 3 square meals when I can only afford 2 under the current crisis that we're facing? I doubt it, my brother. I think it's a wonderful joke. Should we be fasting and praying, even though we've appointed coaches, even though we're going to give players $75,000 just preparing at the World Cup? We should be fasting and praying for 2 days? I really don't think so. Look, if we wish to go that way, I think the best thing to do is to pray to the gods of the Brazilians, because the Brazilians have won the competition the most time, and the Brazilians always qualify to the competition. So if this thing is about God, then I think the Brazilian God is the one that we need to be turning to for prayer. As it goes, none of this at all has got any religious correlation whatsoever. Suffice to say, so long as we wake up in the morning, we're good to go. Only God knows if we'll see the rest of the day. But as far as this football is concerned, I think it's a total waste of time. It's probably another avenue of, I don't know, perhaps using up some finances. I can't see this as a pragmatic way forward. Is that what they believe is going to take us through to the next round of the World Cup? If that's really what they believe, then there's no hope for us.
So, Nana,
because they're the ones.
What you are saying is the prayer and fasting that has been aligned or placed for the citizenry is not as relevant as preparation towards the match in Qatar. Is that it?
Well, thank you for rounding that up so succinctly. Yes, that is what I'm saying in a nutshell. It's just that as a layman, I'm giving it to you this way. It's a total waste of time. I've got to be perfectly honest with you. We are paying a technical team to select players, to put players in the right frame of mind, and to physically tune them so that they can go and compete. And that's where the focus should be. We should be focusing on calling the right players based on merit and nothing else, tuning those players in mentally and physically so that they can effectively compete at the World Cup and go as far as possible. That's what we should be focusing on, not 2 days of fasting and prayer. If anything, we need 2 days of fasting and prayer because petrol prices have gone up, food prices have gone up, utility bills have gone up, because the city is crumbling. Perhaps we ought to do fasting and prayer for that. I do believe Duncan Williams, Reverend Duncan Williams, prayed for the city several years ago. Perhaps we should go back to that if we really think it had any bearing on what is happening now.
But Nana, you mentioned selection of players. Let me ask you again, what your reaction is to this very one. The coach and then the GFA is keeping the 55-man squad a secret from the press and Ghanaians. Meanwhile, other teams have released theirs. What do you make of this?
Well, that's the GFA for you, isn't it? I mean, why are we even selecting 55 players? That's ridiculous. It shows me that we don't know our team yet. 55 players and probably only 25 can go there, maximum 30. What are we doing? It just shows how disorganized the whole thing is, because by now, with only one friendly left before the World Cup, we should know our first 25 easily. We should know it. We shouldn't be going back through a process again where we're calling 55 players for 25 places. I don't think we should be doing that. It's ludicrous, but it's a clear indication that the powers that be don't actually know what they're doing.
Great. Thank you so much, Nana Agyemang. Nana Agyemang is an international football pundit. He has also made his own remarks about the 55 squad team that has been kept a secret. After the break, we'll be bringing you business, international and entertainment. Stay tuned. Now in business, some banks in the country have begun suspending loans, particularly to new customers. This follows the increase in the policy rate by the Bank of Ghana to 24.5%. We understand that some of the foreign banks operating in the country have sent emails to their relationship managers and officers to put on hold lending to new customers. This is to help reduce their risk exposure in advancing loans to new customers. Usually in times of rising interest rates, banks' non-performing loans also shoot up, a reason why some financial intermediaries suspend or slow down lending, particularly to fresh customers. This is to help keep the non-performing loans in check. Therefore, despite the demand for loanable funds going up during times of economic challenges, supply remains low. However, existing and credit-worthy customers will continue to receive loans, but at a higher rate. Bank of Ghana attributed increased policy rate to rising inflation. The Bank of Ghana last week adjusted upward its policy rate, the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, by 250 basis points to 24.5%. Now, the head of freight and logistics at Ghana's Shippers Authority, Fred Asiedu-Dati, says demurrage payment by shippers declined from $76 million in 2017 to $19 million in 2021. This, according to the authority, is due to constant sensitization of freight forwarders and industry players on how to handle their consignment at the port.
Demurrage and detention charges have drastically increased in the recent years. Freight forwarders and shippers are no longer strangers to the dreaded demurrage and detention charges charged by the shipping lines. These surcharges have become one of the most controversial topics in the shipping industry recently due to the free fall of the Ghana cedis. At a sensitization seminar on container demurrage and how to avoid demurrage, some freight forwarders lamented the constant fall of the cedi, which they say is adversely affecting their businesses.
Just last Monday, you go to Golden Jubilee Terminal and only 4 containers were opened. Why should it be so? We used to open about 250 containers. I mean, that's what we used to do. But if you are doing only 4 containers, then it should tell you that the concerns are everywhere. People just can't pay because of the rates of exchange.
We've tried to highlight the effect of, rampant rise in or depreciation of the cedi, how it will affect our, trade. But the government seems not to be, concerned. But we pray that the government, come and do something about it so that we get some profit from our businesses.
The head of freight forwarders and logistics at the Ghana Shippers Authority, Fred Esiedu Date, mentioned that such engagement by the authority has reduced demurrage charges paid by shippers.
At every point you're paying demurrage, it's, the payment is pegged to the exchange rate, the current exchange rate. And quite obviously, if previously you were paying it at a certain rate, with what is happening today, the figures will go up. And that again is kind of significantly increases the impact on shippers' business, which is why this event has been organized. Because we think that if you were already taking steps to improve or to speed up or to expedite the clearance of your goods, this is the time you need to put it on overdrive so that, you don't have any hitches in terms of the clearance of your cargo. And thankfully, there are mechanisms today that, allow for people to even do pre-arrival declaration.
According to the authority, an estimated demurrage payment by shippers declined from $76 million in 2017 to $19 million in 2021.
Up next is entertainment. Now, the Youth Bridge Foundation has premiered its much-anticipated movie, Wildfire, themed on COVID-19 and its impact on Ghana. The movie was premiered at Alliance Francaise here in Accra.
It was a night to behold as patrons came out in their numbers to watch the premiere of this much-anticipated movie put together by the Youth Bridge Foundation in collaboration with JSC Productions and Osiwa. People could not hold themselves as they burst out laughing, enjoying every scene of the movie as it was being shown. Michael Akinrogunde is the director of the movie.
These are things that we actually do within real life. So if you have hidden cameras in people's lives and you can see what happens in their lives, you would see many of these themes, coming through in their daily lives. So it wasn't, it was easy-ish to put that into the movie. A lot of people had experiences with COVID, but there were hardly any experiences that had been documented. Because it's a pandemic, people are either shy or ashamed to talk about how they lived with it, how they lived through it with their families. So I think it was just important to show how the pandemic and COVID-19 affected marginalized societies, and then that's what we tried to do with the movie.
Some actors featured in the movie also spoke to Metro News.
I understood the bit of the evangelist, and I knew that this is an acting bit that I need to tone down a lot of things to bring the actual person out. Then I can fuse in a little of my comic to make it, stand out there. So it's something, one of the roles I've really loved. I've never played an evangelist nor a pastor in any movie. So it was one challenging, but yet still one fulfilled one for me.
It was interesting actually working on this set. I love it. We had enough time to put ourselves together. Living in one place for close to about 10 or more days. It was an experience. It was really enough time to bond together like we all saw. And this is the first time that some of us are actually working with some of the people that we work with. If we get a chance probably in the future, I'm sure we should be able to do something much better than what we saw.
Wildfire tells the story of COVID-19 from the Ghanaian perspective, also highlighting issues of disability, love, sexual harassment, and other pertinent societal issues. The movie features renowned actors Ajite Anand, Martha Ankuma, Calibos, Zimran Clote, and several others.
So that was Wildfire there on COVID-19. Up next, international news.
According to authorities, the floods have killed more than 600 people and displaced 1.3 million since June across the country. The floods have blocked or washed away roads, and transporting produce to markets now takes longer and costs more money than ever. Farmers say 20% of their goods get spoiled on the road. Nigerian farmers say they are expecting poor harvests this year after heavier than average rains pummeled crops and brought widespread floods. China's leader Xi Jinping has moved into a historic third term in power as he revealed a new leadership team stacked with loyalists. On Sunday, October 23, 2022, the Chinese Communist Party unveiled its Politburo Standing Committee with Mr. Xi re-elected as General Secretary. Observers say the lineup, handpicked by Mr. Xi, shows he prizes loyalty over expertise and experience. The unveiling came after a week-long party congress in the capital. Ukrainian President Zelensky says Russia has launched a new massive strike targeting Ukraine's energy grid. He added that the attacks were on a very wide scale, hitting regions in Ukraine's west, center, south, and east. In an evening address, Zelensky said power has been restored in multiple areas where it had been cut off. Officials had said earlier on Saturday that nearly 1.5 million households had been left without electricity.
So this is how we draw the curtains on this afternoon's bulletin. My name is Shadrach Odame Ejari. Many thanks for making time to do the watching. Also to my producer, Henry Kwesi Bedu, Bright Fortune, and all the technical team that supported us. We are back again at 7 p.m. with more news. Goodbye.